He was wrong. He was dead ass wrong. Because eventually, motherfucker, you in your 40s now.
Yeah.
You ain't 25. You ain't 25 or 27 no more.
That's normally when they get caught, when they get older.
Yeah, now you're older. You should have grew out of that shit eventually, motherfucker. God damn. What the fuck you got to talk to a teenager about? So then there might be something wrong too. Me as a teenager ain't finna rap on a level where I want to smash like
that. Yeah, not all. No, yeah. It's two different. You talking about two different kind of music, two different kind of lives. Nah, it ain't.
And he was married with kids, so definitely got what he deserved. You know what I mean? Come on, man.
Then I guess we gotta talk about wrestling now.
Wrestling. You still watch wrestling?
Man, yes. I'm an avid fan. I'm more happy about it now than maybe 10 years ago. Because because it's like it's territory kind of like now. Not the same, but it has a feel for it. Like you got your AEW fans, you got your WWE fans, you got your Impact fans, the NWA got a TV show out. So you got a multitude of different places where you can watch your favorite wrestlers get there instead of having to go just to WWE to make any kind of money. So that's good. I mean, I was thinking about it's almost like the NFL. That's the only one you can go to. So if you don't make it there for whatever reason, then
have you been peeping out the USFL? They got that going.
I mean, I've seen all the other ones. I've seen Canadian football. But I think I'll piggybacking off of wrestling. I think NFL would do good if we had another football league because the funnel gets smaller. I mean, when you from high school, it's just a little bit. It's still big. I mean, you may not go 1A, you go 3A, whatever. But once you get there, it's a funnel, and it all goes to that one. So I mean, you may get some of the best stars, but maybe some people just can't shine for whatever reason. Maybe it's the stress. I mean, that's a lot of stress, knowing that that's the only league you can go to.
But don't you? Well, to me, I feel like that's what makes those guys elite. As far as when you're talking about football, like, isn't that what makes those guys elite? Is that they can handle the pressure and still perform? Because that's a grind. I mean, I'm not saying people don't deserve it, but that's why, to me, I believe that's why when it comes to football, that's why it's such hard and held in those high regards, because these are the guys that can go do the most week in and week out, not only physically but mentally as well.
But I've also
that's what makes people like fuck with it so tough.
But me and Pops, we had an argument one time. We was actually driving to Detroit. We were driving. So I think it was Detroit, and we was arguing about football. And I was saying football it's a fashion. It's like fashion. If you don't look a certain kind of way, you're not getting it up there. And that.
What you mean though? Like, if you don't look a certain type of way.
If you're not, I mean, granted, there are some dudes who are 5'6", 5'7", who play. But generally, if you're not 6 foot tall, 7 foot, if you're not in the 6s, 7s, and you're not, you don't look a certain kind of way, it deters from the game because think about some people who are shorter who are just as good, but because they physically don't have the stature you want, what do you do? What up, Buddha? I've always said that. Football is a fashion statement. If you don't look a certain kind of way, and that's the reason why I like all the different.
The thing about that's what makes it, like I said, that's still what makes it seem like everybody like things that they know they can't do. People like to admire shit.
Yeah.
That's what makes football what it is, because everybody's not tall as hell like that. Everybody's not fast like that. It's just like you like superhero movies.
Yeah.
Nobody's like that. But why do you like them? Because it's dope, right? It's dope to imagine that even maybe if you could motherfucking do some shit like that.
Like
that's how I feel about basketball. I feel like that about rapping sometimes. Is because sometimes when I'm like, damn, I can't do it.
Yeah, but rapping is different. Like you got mainstream rappers, and then you got rappers who can really rap, who make good music, but they don't make mainstream hits. Okay. So they have.
I'm just using all of those as an example, right? Because even with basketball, at one point I could ball. There was still always some people better than me, but I could ball. You know, but even though I could ball, now once you make it, to that college level, once you make it to the NBA, it's a different pressure, different attention, different thing. Now, if I handle it, and that goes with everything. It goes with music. It's a lot of people that's good at making music. But can they handle the pressures that comes with it and still make good music?
But there's one issue I did have with it. It's very good. It teaches kids bad habits. Like if you're a lineman, think about this. If you're a lineman, you have the height, but it's hard for you to keep that kind of weight. Because everybody who's, just because you're 6'5" and you can move and you're eating unhealthy, but you're working out, so it balances out. But imagine if you're an athlete especially lineman, and you don't make it, and you got this unhealthy eating habit that you developed, but now you're not working out. Now look at you. That was my issue a lot of times. They did a Dateline on it like 20 years ago when they were like how
What are you doing? Why you gotta go out this way? See, I'm doing something. You trying to take your bike? Yeah. They all got bikes?
Yes. Go ahead, let the boy do it.
Go. Open it up. I can take it. Open up the garage. Open it up.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not a fan necessarily of the kids. Well, I don't know, because I want to see how this new generation they make it. With the whole, you start training at like 50, at like 9, and you out here going, your parents spending bukus of money sending you all of these camps, and I'm wondering, because there's a new generation that's doing it. I wonder how they're gonna feel when they may not make the cut, or that their dream has been this one dream, and they blow out a knee, or just physically their body can't handle that kind of physicality. Because that's the issue too. Because you get banged up, and you've been playing it for 20 years, and you get to college, and all of a sudden you get injured, and now you don't know how to handle it.
True.
So I just hope that a lot of these parents are giving these kids, not just the speech that football isn't the only way, but being like, hey, you need to have a job, not saying you should have a secondary plan, but you might need to, or at least have a good degree in something.
There's nothing wrong with that. But so there was a guy named Lenny Cook. He was better than LeBron James. Now, when you talk about all these kids who've been up on it early at a young age, that generation starts with LeBron James. That's like your generation. It starts there. Because all these guys played with each other, like a Lenny Cook, LeBron James, a lot of these guys played with each other around that time. Lenny Cook was better than LeBron James. He was going to be that guy. There's a documentary on him, and he fell off because this is where he fell off. This is where the mental part comes in. He started feeling like, I'm that dude. I've been told I'm that dude, which plays into stuff that you're talking about for all these years. Told I'm going to be that guy. I got this in the bag.
And you show out every night.
And it's just like old boy from Ohio State. They did that documentary about him. That brother that ended up going to prison.
Oh yeah.
Got his name. Him too. And that guy started young and was getting cultivated young. So that's nothing new. And it is getting more and more. But I believe that all of that you were talking about, I believe that's why we started to see people get hurt so much more at a younger age, because they've been doing this thing on a high level since they were 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, putting their body through more than what a lot of guys had to get put through a long time ago.
And then burnout too, you know.
That's what I mean. That's the burnout, because then you go through. Think about it. You play football and basketball all through your junior high, high school days, and starting from elementary school, and then it gets more and more constant. They start football practice early. You know, they start basketball. They keep basketball going year round.
I don't know how they do it on their knees, constantly playing.
And then you go to college. They don't let up in college. Then you go to the pros. They don't let up. Now you got all these guys getting hurt.
And then
we didn't see guys getting hurt like we didn't see them, but they were able to win. I think they were able to withstand much more because their bodies were able to develop better because they weren't competing too high.
I think everybody has. I call it the hit level. Your body has so many hits you can take before it just starts being like, okay. And everybody is a set different. Some is people's 1 million, some is 150. And whatever you hit your limit, your body's like, hey, we done. And you know, it is what it is. But wrestling right now, huh?
Go ahead. Tell me.
With wrestling,
I'm out of here.
With wrestling, it's getting sticky. Like, so if you want these big muscular guys, like we talked about with football players, you're gonna go to like WWE. You want guys, when you meet them in real life, they look like they're throwing people around. Now you got AEW, they got some smaller guys, but they're just as talented. They're still doing their thing. So I mean, it's a good time because there's so many different versions of wrestling that is being broadcasted. That I mean, you can kind of just get in your little niche and just ride it out. Now,
so it's going back to like the old school, basically.
Yeah, you got a lot, you know, and that's, I think for wrestling is a great thing because, you know, when you have one dude that controls it, a lot of times you'll get a guy who's a star somewhere else. But Vince McMahon has a bad habit of only pushing guys that he made. You know, if you were a guy from another organization, you blew, especially in the 80s and 90s. He
trying to switch you up.
Yeah,
he switched a lot of guys up. Like, man, especially at that, he was doing it at the time. We wanted to see that guy who he was in like AWA or NWA. It used to be times where we want to see him go against a dude from the WWF as that dude. Yeah. And then it would come to fucking WWF and then be somebody else. We'd be like, wow, man.
Vince McMahon, he'll do that. He'll be like, look, you're going to get this payday and you're going to be doing whatever. So, I mean, he's done that a couple dudes, but like a lot of people now, they're like, hey, I don't have to go to WWE to make good money. And I'm not worried about the travel and, you know, and on top of that, Vince McMahon has some bad business practices too, as far as.
Of course. I mean, he let dudes do steroids. Come on.
Yeah, but like I'm talking about like as far as working. You know, if you're an independent contractor. Okay.
Yeah, he wouldn't pay people.
Wait, we're gonna have to do another one because our time is running out. Because I only have 40. It only gives us 40 minutes. So I'm gonna make another one, and I'll make another one. I'll make another one now. I'll do it while we're talking, and we'll keep going. But yeah, Vince McMahon is like you know, if you're an independent contractor, you're supposed to be able to do whenever, right?
Right.
But when he does it, he's like, oh, you can only work for me, and you can't get any money in the world. And that's not an independent contractor.
Well, that's a shame. It's fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, but he's been doing that for years.
That's guys, and hopefully in wrestling, he's with them going to different places instead of going to WWE, they can start realizing that they can be able to negotiate. You know what I mean? Because when you can't negotiate and you don't have the right lawyer and things like that, because we hear about that happening in all kinds of different businesses on entertainment level. Those guys got screwed over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They might. So, because that shit happens in the entertainment business. And I hope in wrestling, since you're bringing it up and it's making me think that in wrestling, hopefully these guys that are going to these other territories, that's what I'm gonna call it, that's what I remember, man. Going to these other territories are starting to realize I don't have to fight